The Lord bless you and keep you.
Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you.
The Lord turn his face toward you
and give you peace.
The Lord bless you and keep you.
Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you.
The Lord turn his face toward you
and give you peace. Amen. Amen.
Kaya kura dime na kumenyagerere
Arotomodio wake ukwarire na gukinyirie wega wake. Kaya rogotirira odio wake
na koethayo. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children.
May his presence go before you and behind you and beside you, all around you and within you. He is with you, he is with you.
In the morning, in the evening, in your coming and your going, in your weeping and rejoicing, he is for you, he is for you. Leke wendo wake ukoro iguru riaku, ginya njiarwa ngiri na ngiri, bamĩrĩ yaku na ciana ciaku na ciana ciao na ciana ciao. Reke we mwene athiĩ mbere yaku na thutha waku, mwena na mwena agũthiũrũrũkĩrie, aikare thĩinĩ waku, arĩ hamwe nawe, arĩ hamwe nawe. Ũrĩ rũcinĩ ona hwaĩ-inĩ, ũkiumagara na ũgĩcoka, hĩndĩ ya maithori na ya gĩkeno, arĩ hamwe nawe, 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 arĩ hamwe nawe.
Amen. Beautiful. What a prayer. What a prayer. Amen. Amen, amen, amen. Thank you so much. I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to our program. This is a beautiful moment, and this is the Trumpet of Hope. And every Wednesday, we have the Diaspora One Voice Consortium program. And tonight, we are privileged, and I want to make sure that we get this right. We're going to have our program, and then we'll have, immediately after we finish, we're going to proceed on with the second part of our show. And I know that we are going to have a beautiful moment. And may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you now as we begin, even as we continue up to the very end. And whatever we are going to discuss is going to be a blessing. It's going to be a blessing to all of us. We're going to learn. We're going to be motivated. We are going to be informed. We are going to be encouraged. And we are going to know so many things tonight. This program comes to you every Wednesday, and it is sponsored and brought to you by the Diaspora One Voice. Our guest tonight is one special person. I have known him. I have followed him. We have had discussions. We have had a group debates, and we have, agreed to disagree at some point. And this has been very, very good. Introducing to you Mr. David Ogega. David is coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia. How are you, my brother?
Good, Captain. Thank you so much for the opportunity and the opportunity to be with you and the rest of our viewers here tonight. Thanks again.
This is very good. This is very good. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you once again. And please take a minute and introduce yourself in an official manner, because if I do, I may miss a point, and I don't want to do that.
Okay. Well, yeah, so, there's probably not a whole lot more to introduce about myself beyond what you've already said. But, my name's again David Ogega Ochwangi. I am based out of Atlanta, Georgia. Officially or professionally, I am a CPA. And for those of you who know what CPAs do, especially around this time, tax time, that's the kind of work that I do. And also I'm a CMA, or Certified Management Accountant. So that dovetails into what I do professionally in corporate America, and also assisting with our, community. Outside of that, the second hat that I wear is that I'm a community organizer. I like to consider myself. Captain and I go way back. Mm-hmm. We do a lot of things for the community, and I'm just honored that I'm able to partake in this wonderful program tonight. So thank you so much. But that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you so much. David lives in Atlanta, and he's a family man, and being a certified public accountant, remember that we are going to touch on taxes a little bit, and being a community leader and a community organizer, we're going to touch on issues that touch on our community. And again, he is also the president and the founder of DCG. He is going to tell us about that, the Diaspora Capital Group. We are going to touch on that, and I know that we are going to have a beautiful moment. He's also a member of the Diaspora One Voice, and we want to celebrate and salute the organizers of Diaspora One Voice, led by Dr. Sherry Robert, and all the other members who have been of great help and importance in our community. So, David, here we are. Tell us a little bit about the Diaspora One Voice Consortium and why we need to join together in such organizations that bring people together.
Oh, great. Thank you. So, the Diaspora One Voice is actually the brainchild of Dr. Robert Shuri. He's a friend of mine that I've known for quite some time, but he shares a great passion about our community and bringing all our people together, most, under one umbrella. So we can share ideas, we can advance our agenda as the diaspora community. And, I'm sure, Captain, there's so many of our, groups of diaspora groups in this United States and across the world, anybody outside of our country. So what we've tried to do is, figure out a way that we can congregate, get together in the form of groups. For example, I am actually the chair of the Association of Kenyan Diaspora Organizations. That's yet another group in the community that we try as hard as we can to have one voice. But the Diaspora One Voice Consortium, what we do, or what Dr. Churi had in mind, is to bring all our diaspora communities and organizations and affiliates and try to get them under one umbrella. That way, our ideas and things that we have in advancing our common welfare as the diaspora community can actually be advanced under that umbrella. And I think we've made a lot of progress in that sense.
That is good. Many times as a community we have been so divided in terms of a tribe, in terms of economic class, in terms of regions where we live, in terms of religion, in terms of age, in terms of when we migrated from Kenya, and we have found ourselves, bringing in that Kenyan negative culture of being so divided. I don't know whether you, as a community leader, do you see a time when we will be able to speak as one voice in the diaspora?
I think so. And it's true what you just said, because unfortunately, it's one of those things because, we brought it with us to this United States or to Europe or whatever we call the diaspora. And I think it's one of those, I guess, Achilles heel, if you will, because we're tribal, we're an ethnic-centric country, or at least where we come from. And so when we come outside of Kenya, we just have not been able to find a way to melt into just one community of Kenyans in the United States. And that's why you see what we're doing now with the One Voice Consortium, for example, trying to figure out the best way to do it. And I think we've come a long way. Most places I go to now, we're talking more so as Kenyans. And the things that still percolating before, underneath the surface or below the surface. But by and large, I feel like we're going to get to a point where we literally speak as Kenyans. And I think the one way to do that, or the common denominator to be able to do that, is actually our economics and finances, because those are some of the things that we all share. If we can get our finances and businesses under one umbrella, I think we'll do just fine.
That is good. You have been organizing events with your organization, and I know that this year there's the Diaspora Conference. Would you please mention a little bit about it before we proceed on?
Oh, sure. Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity to speak about that. Again, we do host diaspora conferences every year, and actually it dovetails into what you just alluded to, Captain, in the sense that it's one way we try to get our community to come together. So we have conferences that we host. Usually it's in the summer or early in the fall. Last year we scheduled it for the fall, but of course because of COVID we couldn't do it, and this year it's actually scheduled for August 27 and 28 in Seattle, Washington. And we want all of you guys that can make it, please come join us. We got good programs scheduled, great guests from Kenya and across the United States. And it's just one way to, commune as Kenyans in the diaspora. It's one way that we all can come together and share our togetherness. So and share ideas on how best we can advance as Kenyans in the United States or in the diaspora.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was just an introduction of the things that David does and is doing and will be doing as a community leader. And let me tell you, this is one mind that we need to use, and we need to capture and make sure that we run with it, because it's a bright and it's a brilliant mind. And I know that the people who have interacted with David will bear me witness that he is a resource. Now, as we continue, we are in a very, specific time in the economy. I don't know where to begin, because this guy here has a lot of knowledge in terms of finance and economics. So we're going to just dive into it. I know there is the politics part of Kenya that is going on. We have the BBI, and I know that it is also in your you're so dear to the issues that are happening in Kenya, and the issue of taxes. Let's first of all start with the taxes, since I know when I mention taxes, this is a very busy moment for you. Tell us where we are in terms of tax season here in the U.S. and what Kenyans should know, especially with the new the new administration.
Well, there's the majority of the tax regime that we're under right now, and thanks for bringing that up again, Captain. The majority of the regime that we're under now is, of course, under the Trump administration from a tax standpoint. But also, I think the couple of things that I've seen come up this year related to the stimulus or the recovery rebate credit. Mm-hmm. So what this really means is that if you have not received, or you didn't receive your stimulus check for whatever reason, of course you can get a credit now when you file your taxes. So make sure that whoever is doing them, they're able to capture it. Most of the programs that we use actually have that embedded in them, so you shouldn't really miss it. But I've seen cases where people miss it. And the other thing is, if you noticed children or people that were considered between age 17, I believe, and 21, or I forgot exactly what the age upper limit was, they did not get the stimulus checks. Either they were claimed as dependents last year, or for whatever reason they couldn't qualify. So I would encourage you, if you're one of them, or one of your kids is in that age that was a dependent last year, this year they can actually file their own individual tax. And because their status has changed from what it was last year when they were disallowed or they couldn't qualify, if they file individually or by themselves this year, usually it's going to be single, they would actually recoup that credit. I think they should be able to recoup $1,800 that missed out because of the bracket that they fell under. And then, and of course, that also enables them to start receiving the difference. I think the Biden administration is about to issue another $1,400 if Congress approves the bill that is now going through the Senate. So it's a big advantage for these kids or whoever that didn't qualify to actually file as individuals. That way, they would receive they recoup the credit, but also receive what's coming to them in the next several weeks. So that, I think that's big. And the other thing people ask me, okay, well, the stimulus money or the check that you received is not taxable income. So in other words, you don't have to include it in your income that you made last year. It's a gimme. The federal government just said you can have that. It's intended to help. So don't worry about it. If you have it, it's for you to keep, and you don't have to declare it as a taxable income to you. And I think the other piece that I've seen because of COVID, is that the federal government, I mean, the government said if you have a 401k, for example, that you pulled money out of, you can literally pull so much out of it and avoid penalty. You could pull up to 150 and still not, not be. I believe it's 100k that you can pull out if you didn't have a job. Usually, when you pull money out of your 401k, there's a 10% penalty, and then actually it's taxed by that time, or you can opt out of being taxed. But in this case, the penalties have been waived. And then if you repay back within that, then you don't have to, the taxes, the penalty and the taxes are not due at any given time. But if you extend it beyond that period, then there's going to be some repercussions that are attached. But those are the main ones that I'm thinking about that I can remember. But maybe I'll remember a few more if there's somebody has a question. But those are the main ones that I've seen this year.
Thank you so much. Among the things that people ask are the issues of the tax deductions and the credits to consider for the tax season for 2021. Remember that we are just starting off. Living in Texas, and our governor decided to say now businesses can be opened 100% and we can do away with the masks. And I told people, yes, that is a governor's declaration, but remember that your health is your priority, it is your responsibility, so it is upon you to know what you're going to do, or rather to mention. I would wish you to talk about the post-COVID, or rather now that we are getting off the COVID situation, and there may be something that you as an expert in taxes, maybe you can tell people to watch and also to be careful about as they file their taxes this year. We know there is the issue of the Paycheck Protection Program. I don't know whether it is still there. Maybe you can tell us. The issue of unemployment benefits, the issues of the education expenses, that is the 529 and others. You can also mention about, there's something else that somebody told me about, the mistakes that we do as a community when it comes to filing taxes, because these common mistakes that we often come across when we are declaring our taxes or when we are filing our taxes. Just mention that so that we can conclude that particular part.
Oh, great. Thank you again. So let's just start, maybe one by one, but let's start with the PPP. Most of you know that, the last one that came out, it was utilized really quickly by the big companies. But I think, as you heard President Biden say, it was last week when he opened a small window for small businesses. So it's now open. I'm actually helping a few of small businesses. But what's unique about what President Biden did, he extended it even into individuals or self-employed businesses. So expanded the scope so much so that just about anybody that has a business really should be able to apply and receive the PPP. But because of that, I think what I've seen, unlike EDIL, that is the economic disaster recovery loans that were being issued directly, you could apply to SBA. On this one, the PPP, you literally have to go through a lender. And because of some of the quirks or nuances that are attached to it, some lenders are kind of backing off a little bit, so you literally got to know what you're doing before you can, apply and get approved. You got to get your 940 forms done and filled. The 940 forms are literally, the employment returns that you submit to IRS or the government every quarter of the number of people that you have on your staff or you employ that are intended to protect. The PPP has been expanded in terms of what it covers. It covers, sometimes rent, utilities, and things like that. So just things to be cognizant about what it covers and the challenges that are related to getting the right lenders that work with the SBA to get that going. but it's there. But the best feature about the PPP is that it's forgivable, right? If you use it for what it was intended for, which is to protect people and keep them employed, then you can later on the back end apply to get it waived. So what does that mean? Don't tell me I told you so, but if you use it, it ends up being a grant or free money. So it's something to consider. If you have a business and you want to go ahead and try it, you should apply it. And then, of course, the unemployment, the one that was passed by President Trump, former President Trump, it would actually run through, I think, the end of this month, if I'm not mistaken. But if the one they're working on now passes, then I think they would extend it through September, which would help a lot of people. And I think they would enhance it from the 300 weekly federal subsidy that attaches to the state to 400. So, it'll go a long way. But what I would advise you guys, if you're getting that, make sure that they're taking taxes out of your unemployment, because that's actually income that is reported to you as income. So next year you would have to declare that when you file your taxes. The other thing that I wanted to point out for those of you that, let's say, have the HSAs, which is health savings accounts, that you can actually save up to the 2,700, 2,750 last year was 2,700. I believe this year's increased to 2,750. That's a whopping $50 increase. But what it means is that it's actually a tax deduction for you. And unlike the FSA was a flexible spending account, if you don't use it within the year, you lose it. But HSA, if you don't use it, it can actually roll over to the next year. So, and you have until April 15th to put money in it. It helps reduce your taxable income for the prior year, which would be 2020 in this case. And that doctrine or the concept that I just explained also applies to your individual retirement account, the IRA. If you have an IRA, you want to put about 6,000. You have a limit of 6,000 that you can put into a Roth IRA. You can put that in there, and you have until April 15th to do it. Or if you have a traditional IRA, you can still put money in it. But what it does for those of you that are exposed to higher tax brackets, it reduces your tax liability for 2020. What else am I missing? There's another point you said that. Did I get it all? Did I get it right?
I think I mentioned there's something else that was asked by somebody here, and this is, I don't know whether it is within this particular issue, but as a finance person, I would wish to mention it. Give people the windows that they need to take advantage of at this particular time when it comes to investing for the children, because some people are wondering, or some people don't know that there are so many avenues that they can be able to save and to take advantage of when it comes to their children. And somebody is mentioning that again as an issue that maybe you can advise as an expert.
Right, and that's I think that would fall under usually the 529s, which are primarily set up or designed for kids going to school, saving for college and things like that. But I think majority of those are state programs. In other words, each state has its own purview or regulations that govern the 529s, how you put your money in it, and what you can use it for. So that's something that you really should consider, because the state would give you credit for that. I'm not sure there's a federal credit that applies to 529 in the sense that we have it set up more so than with the state. But it's something that you guys would, you should be really interested in and looking for, especially if you have kids, because it brings down again your tax liability. There's several state incentives that are attached to 529s and any other programs. What the federal government does actually it gives you the Hope scholarships credits or the lifelong schooling credits. So that kind of offsets. It's the equivalent on the state side. The 529, I pretty much look at it in the sense of the credits you get from the federal government for school, and and of course you get to write off your loans and things like that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We are talking to our friend and one of us. He is a member of the One Voice Consortium and an expert when it comes to the issues of finance. Mr. David Ogega is a certified public accountant and a certified management accountant. And when it comes to finances, he is an expert. If you need to ask him any question, he will help you with his contacts, and also maybe he can offer you the services. I don't know whether you are doing that right now. I know when it is tax season. And there are people who up to now, they don't know who will file their taxes. So let me give you this chance to maybe tell them whether they can come to you when it comes to that. And are you just doing that for the people who are in Georgia, or you can do that even for people who are outside Georgia?
Oh, thank you, Captain. But we actually do taxes nationally. Anywhere you can file a federal or state return, we do that. And you can actually reach us. Our website is people still say www. I used to somebody laughed at me when I said it. They said, who does that? But it is David N letter N associates.com. David N associates.com. And you can reach us there. Also, you can actually send me an email or send us an email. My email directly would be dochwangi at David N letter N associates.com. And I forgot my business number. One of my cards is here somewhere, but I forgot where it is. I would hate to give my personal number. I get inundated with calls.
Is it the 678? I see a phone number on the website.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. 678-523-3310. You can reach me on that one. And if we don't pick up, text me. I'll make sure that I respond to you.
Yeah, that is important because I know there are people who would wish to know how to file their taxes, and I think those are the details. That is davidnassociates.com, and the email is dochwangi at davidandassociates.com, and I see the telephone number right there. If you're there, if you need to get any help, you can actually visit their website. It's a very clear website, as you can see, and you'll be able to learn something from it, or even ask any question that is gonna help you, because I think this is the website, yeah?
Yep, that is it. Yep, that's exactly it. Thank you. Yep, that's it.
All right, so that is everything to do with David, and you'll be able to get a lot of information on the website. You can be able even to ask any question. He will be able to answer, and why choose them is a premier accounting and finance outsourcing, bookkeeping, audit support, tax services, professional services, and lastly, they mention about best value. So that is good, and he's a member of the Diaspora One Voice. So believe you me, that when you have him, then you are good to go. Thank you so much. We have we continue with the other things that we are going to discuss tonight. I know that David is very, very, very concerned about the issues that deal with Kenyans in the diaspora. I don't know where we are placed, by the government of Kenya when it comes to the issues that are going on in Kenya? Do you see like our government takes care of us, or do you see like there is a missing link?
Oh gosh, Captain, don't get me started. Because this is this is the second hat that I wear, and you and I, we outside our professional work, this is really, this is where the rubber meets the the asphalt, so to speak. First of all, the answer to your question is no. They do not care about us in the diaspora, and there's a lot of rhetoric that the Kenyan government speaks about how they value the diaspora. Of course, we generate a lot of money that we send home in the form of remittances. The last I checked, I think it was 300 and some odd change in billions, that of the transmissions or remittances to the country, and that helped. If you look at what we send and the actual impact, you take what we send and multiply it maybe by 3 or 4 times. That's the actual impact. In other words, if you send $1 and somebody goes and buys something and buys another, and the next person buys, that dollar circulates maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times. So that dollar actually supports about $5 transactions or in a year. So a $300 billion, shillings that we send could have an impact as high as 1.2 or 1.5 trillion shillings in that economy. And the point I'm trying to raise is that you have ministries in Kenya, for example, that really, agriculture used to be our biggest ministry, right? Or tourism, actually. And they would generate so much, but nothing compared to what we generate as the diaspora. And common sense to me would dictate that the people that bring so much, you at least try to take good care of them. For example, maybe let have some kind of representation. You used to hear this expression, taxation without representation. I mean, that's actually real. And
I'm losing you a little bit. I guess you are speaking a very hot topic. I'm losing you a little bit, David. Let's repeat that particular point, and then press that particular link again, so that we can get to that particular issue nicely. I don't want to lose David. I'm losing David, and there's something that is happening here, right here. David, come again, so that we can get to that particular issue. It is an important issue. I lost you. Are you there? Yes, I lost you a little bit.
I'm so sorry about that, gosh. Sorry.
Yeah, I lost you a little bit, and we are discussing something that is very important. You just mentioned that these people, no, they are not. So what do we need to do as the diasporians? And if without being united, are we going to succeed?
And that's key. Actually, that is key. And again, to Dr. Churi's credit, that's really the purpose of Global Diaspora One Voice Consortium, and so many other organizations here. I think what we need to do is, get our voices out there. We need to unite as a community, as a diaspora community, and get our concerns aired. I mean, we just went through, and still going through it actually, the COVID. At the start of COVID, we saw how our diaspora were handled, especially in the Middle East and China. They were left to fend for themselves, and some of them were brutalized and treated really, really badly. And all the while, when all that was going on, our government was sending flowers to England, to nurses in England. If you can imagine, I mean, juxtapose what happened and how, where are we? What are we? Are we a priority to this government? But those are some of the examples that I'm given. And I think when you look at what's going on now in the context of BBI, for example, we were hoping that they would have interest, or they would at least try to incorporate things that we care about as a diaspora, and how to protect us in the constitutionally. That is, we shouldn't have to ask to be protected constitutionally, but that's what it is. So I mean, even something as simple as birthright citizenship, right? You see how they treated Miguna, for example. I mean, a Kenyan born in Kenya cannot even go back to his country because the government decides one day, hey, we don't like you, too tough, get the heck out of here, right? Or you see what they did with Mwende Mwizi. They decided, no, you're too American, now you're a dual citizen, and therefore you cannot serve this country. So those are some of the things that we need to speak on, and speak power, speak truth to the power, and tell them, no, this has to change. And it's us in the diaspora, diaspora, global diaspora, One Voice Consortium, Association of Kenyan Diaspora, to come together and unite and at least have a sense of purpose, and push for our agenda, push for our interests. That's what I take it as.
Let me ask you, do you think that maybe the new dispensation, we are just about to get to a BBI, and we're going to have a change, we're going to have the referendum. Do you think that it has anything to do with the diaspora?
First of all, I think, and you heard me say this in other forums, but I think BBI is a fraud. It has nothing, leave alone the diaspora. It has nothing good for Kenyans in general, if you ask me. Because we were told, as you remember, that they were bringing this to fore because they wanted to end the post-election violence that happens every election cycle. Remember that? That was the premise. That's the pretext. That's what they told us why they wanted to get BBI going. Then it was debunked. Now, no, the reason why we have post-election violence is because of election rigging. So there's a section of the law that y'all changed that changed the way election results are transmitted, so that it gives folks opportunity to steal and rig elections as they're being transmitted, the presidential elections, only that, as they're being transmitted to Nairobi, for somebody then to manipulate the numbers. Why don't you change that law and make it so that election results for all candidates are declared at the polling station or at the polling center? That way, you have no opportunity to synchronize or play monkey business because you're waiting to see who reported what and see where to, plug numbers in. It is that simple. So now they've seen, and honestly, BBI is really more about Ruto. They're just those ones that are advancing the BBI. They're afraid that maybe Ruto might be too powerful and get the people's mind. So they're trying to figure out a way to fight it. And yes, let's speak truth to power again. The diaspora is not included in BBI. Many of us submitted ideas. They just were never taken into account. I'm one of them.
Repeat that statement so that people can hear it clearly. We lost you just one word. And I see your friend Osira Washington, very excited to listen to you. So can you please
Okay.
repeat that to the power? Let them hear you. Look at that camera and let them hear you.
Yeah, so we're saying to our leaders in Kenya, we want to speak truth to power. In other words, we want to take the BBI or this, I call it a fraud, excuse me, but that's what I call it the BBI fraud that you guys are pushing or the powers are pushing. It has nothing to do with the interests of the diaspora, let alone Kenyans. And we would, if it's possible, we would please like to ask you to reconsider, and make it a people-driven process, or at least a people-centered process, because the way it's framed right now, it's a 3 or 4 man process. It is costly. It is. It has taken. It has no priority for Kenyans. It is very expensive. It has diverted most critical and crucial funding that would go to take care of our people, especially during this global pandemic. Money that has been sent to help people. The focus and resources have been diverted to push BBI, and I think it's wrong. So if you're going to do it, the country is not bonding because we don't have BBI. The country is bonding because the right leadership is not focusing on the priorities of the people, we the people. Let's take care of our people. Let's get them well. Make sure they have the right food, medicine, for example. There's a lot of people that are starving, right? What I suggested in some of my write-ups, I'm sure you've seen, Captain, I suggested that let's even have a patient bill of rights. A patient bill of rights. That all that it says is that if you have a patient that is unwell, at least like we do here in the United States, a patient that needs emergency care cannot be turned away, right? It's the law that you at least have to stabilize that patient. And then once you stabilize them, the deal can follow, or if they establish a fund to take care of it. What's going on in Kenya? People are, people are dying in front of hospitals. This BBI would make more sense to us or to Kenyans if such a simple provision was there that says, take care of our patients first when they show up. Maybe let's set up a fund as a government that takes care of these patients. There's nothing. All it says is that we're going to have a prime minister, and we're going to have 2 deputy prime ministers, and we're going to have 70 new MPs, like we don't have enough already. And then because we have a 2/3 gender rule, now we're going to figure out a way how to fill them. Look at it. 300 additional legislators. That's just at the national level. We're not talking about the local or the MCAs, and we're going to hand up with an expanded size and scope of government on the backs of Kenyans who can ill afford it. That's the BBI.
When you speak that way, people will think that you have been sent by the anti-BBI Ruto team to say that you don't support BBI. Because anybody who is not supporting BBI is being branded as a hustler supporter. And those who are supporting BBI are branded as dynasties. We are having by-elections going on somewhere in different parts of the country. And it was very sorry to see and very unfortunate to see what people are going through. In a democratic country like ours, 60 years after independence, yet people cannot be able to conduct a free and fair election, even a by-election. Do you think that BBI will be free and fair?
Well, I mean, BBI would not be fair. I mean, it's rigged as even as we look at it right now. Two major ways that we've seen it already. That it would not be a fair process as it is. It's already been predetermined. If you remember when they started out, they sent out, when we shared our position, what they did, because they knew it was going to be an uphill task, right? You remember what former Prime Minister Odinga said, is that we're going to get this done in record time. BBI, you're required to at least, to change the constitution in Kenya, you're required to at least get, I think, 1 million signatures, right? Mm-hmm. So between the time this document came out and they received it at Bomas, I forgot exactly where they received it, they announced that we would have this in a month, that they would have 1 million signatures in a month. But when we voiced our opposition, President Kenyatta put a temporary halt on it, and then, like the following week, a day later, he switched and said, "Oh, no, we're back on." Do you know what they did? They went out and literally went to the government records, found out the names of the people. They had paperwork, stuff, forms that they went around the country pretending to text signatures, about 4 or 5 million signatures on something. What's so impractical, so blatantly obvious that they didn't do it. Do you know how I know it? Because IBC looked at those signatures. They have to validate them. Mm-hmm. So they said out of the 5 million signatures that they received from the people that were doing it, only less than 1 million, I think at first it was like 780,000 or 800,000 that they said were valid. But because they needed that threshold, then they added another, they buttressed it later to make it 1.2 million. So when you look at what these people submitted to IEBC, they say we got 5 million good signatures here that we're bringing to you. And IBC looks at it and says, "Oh no, only 1 million, just enough to get past that." So that's one piece of fraud that we find. Now then the president himself comes along, because he knows there's a lot of opposition to BBI. You know what he does? He says, "Oh, the MCAs, we're going to give you a 2 million shilling grant so you can prove it and vote for BBI." So that's money that, like I said earlier at the beginning, the money that could have gone to take care of our people, but it's been used as a bribe. And let's talk truth to power. It's a bribe. The MCAs have been bribed to approve BBI. And guess what they're going to do? That same trick they did at first, that's my fear. That trick they did with those signatures, that's what they're going to do with the final thing and say it's been approved. And so, to your point, I don't think it's going to be, it's not going to be fair. It's a predetermined thing, but it doesn't mean we can't speak what we see. It doesn't mean we cannot voice our, frustrations. And I think for those of you, we created a petition out there. It's on change.org. And we're telling people, at least let these issues be known. And we're going to be going to the world and tell them this is what's going on in our country. Can you help us? Because as it stands now, our own government, our own leaders, they will not listen to me and you. But guess who they will listen to? They will listen to the United States. They will listen to President Biden. They will listen to you, to the UK. But it's just that there's not enough noise to these world powers and telling them, please help us, because our leaders, they left to their own devices, we will not have a country. The other piece you asked me was whether this is, in support of William Ruto. No, not at all. Not at all. This is the merits. We're talking about the merits of what we're being asked to approve. And William Ruto is not doing this or is not opposing it because he cares so much about Kenyans, I don't think. He's doing it because it's for his own political survival. He's doing it to position himself or political posturing. And if you ask me, honestly, Ruto, the president himself, and Raila Odinga, as far as I'm concerned, they're the problem because they're the ones giving us all these problems. Yep. And it is what it is, you know. So that's my long-winded answer.
Allow me to make sure that we, or rather request that we get, let us debate these things. Let us talk. I intended to start a program that I'm calling the Kenya We Want. And this program will be, bringing about 4 people, different experts, people who have, different professional views, that we can discuss these things, because it is unfortunate that we are where we are right now.
It's so true. I mean, like this, and I am so honored and humbled that you even invited me to on this platform, because this is exactly what we need, Captain. Because if what we ignore as a people, we empower. Like if something wrong is going on and you don't do anything or say anything about it, it's not only a condemnation. In other words, you're condoning it. You're saying it's okay, right? So if you're ignoring it, you're empowering it. What we ignore, we empower. And I think unfortunately, that's what it is in our country. I think Kenyans, maybe it's how peaceful we are, but in a way it's coming to bite us, because we're timid. If you look at even, I mean, Ruto, I give him credit. I mean, for the wrong reasons, but he's assertive. I don't necessarily support him. I don't support Ruto at all. But we need about, and even Jacom, Raila Odinga. There was a time, man, he was assertive. Kenyans, we love that, but for the right reasons. We don't want people that are assertive because I want to be in charge, and therefore, I'm gonna for things that have no use or value to the people that you want to be in charge over. So that, unfortunately, that's what it is. But I think as a people, we need to emulate some of the, like the Nigerians, by the way. They're very assertive. They speak up. And their government, especially the diaspora Nigerians, their government knows that, they speak truth to power.
For us, we are busy working, and
is going on. Huh?
For us Kenyans, we are busy. For us Kenyans, we are busy fighting some small little battles and making individual finance and monies, and we forget the country. We forget the patriotic duty to fight for our country and even to speak up. We have professionals who can write. We have professionals who can speak, but they get buried and they forget, or rather they become helpless.
It is what it is as a country. I mean, but I think the silver lining in this, I don't know if you can hear me, but the silver lining in all this is that finally, I feel like we're getting to a point where, we would have to take action, some kind of action. I'm not calling for a revolution or anything, but I'm just saying there's got to be a time where enough is actually enough, where people say, no, not anymore. And I think we're close to that point now that, if you see a government that is tone deaf, unresponsive, that's just as it places because they can and nothing happens. You got to ask yourself, wait a minute, this is not how things are supposed to be. And what are we going to do about it? We got to figure this thing out. So my hope is that going forward, our people interested especially we have sway, from we wherewithal to and some things.
Very good.
And so
Very
I'm
good.
hoping that we can leverage what. Yeah, sorry.
These
No, I was going to say we can leverage what we have and make it happen.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I have David Ogega, who is a community leader. And, when it comes to the community issues, he's very passionate. And they have organized the Diaspora Conference in August down in Seattle, Washington. This is a moment to come together and listen and speak up your mind. It is important. Right now, there's so much that is going on. We need Kenyans who can speak up. We need Kenyans who can write. We need Kenyans who can air their views. We need Kenyans who can just be out there, be heard. Get out on your YouTube, get out on your channels, and let your voice be heard. Do not forget that the money that you send in Kenya, down the line, if this nonsense goes on, then whatever we had in 2007 and 2008 is just but a little bit. That is just but a little bit. If whatever is going on in Kenya right now, if it is not controlled, if it is not stopped, then these challenges, the issues, the differences, then we might be a laughing stock at the end of the day. And we don't want that. We want people to speak up. I want you to I want you to just mention about some few people. Mwaura from Embakasi, Lucy Watoana, Akuka Wekesa says without Ruto's opposition to the BBI nonsense, Raila would have been named Prime Minister and Uhuru Kenyatta President for life. I'm not sure about that. Washington Osero says what's they saying? If you can't beat them, join them. That is where Ruto is at. BBI ni kazi ya wa his attack. Raja rafiki yangu anajua. Oh my goodness. And Mogo from Cayman Island, how are you? Welcome back. This is home. The other one was Go David, ambia watu ukweli kabisa. BBI is a power grab. BBI is a dynasty preservation tool and adds to a long list of an alphabet, a soup of commissions and initiatives going back to the late 60s, early 70s, including the latest one, TJRC, that have never been fully implemented. And do you think that they will implement some of these things? I'm sorry, no. I doubt.
Yep. 1,000% agree with those sentiments. Exactly right. That's where I stand. It's a self-preservation tool. That's the right. That's to me. That's the right characterization of exactly what's going on. It has nothing to do with Kenyans. A lot of what they've put there, they don't need a constitutional change. For example, they're peddling this malarkey that they would raise the money to the counties by
35%.
35%. Listen, I mean, it's not true, because the Constitution as it's written right now, it only sets the floor. In other words, the minimum amount that can be shared to the county, 15% of the national budget, right? It's the minimum. Mm-hmm. So it does not prevent them. They do not need a new constitution or any change to raise it to 20% or 30% or even 100%. There's no constitution needed for that. Okay. They also say for young vijana that they would need this constitution is going to protect you. Whatever money you get for business, I think it's business loans, that they would be protected from repaying it for 7 years. That's not a constitutional. It's not a constitutional matter. That's an administrative matter. That's a legislative matter. You can go to Parliament and say we are going to allow our youth to get loans and have not an abatement. Actually, if they had said it was an abatement, which is really waiving the loans, that would be even better. But they're giving them a window of repayment of 7 years, and therefore, that's not a constitutional issue. That's just, but that's the kind of stuff that we're being fed. And unfortunately, and I hate to say this about our people, but because most of our people are not as informed or they don't question a lot of things. Some of them have been called voting robots. Not in a bad way. It's a pejorative, I agree, but it's also the truth. You know, somebody shows up and tells you maybe one or two things and say, okay, that's how I'm gonna vote. It shouldn't be like that. Our people should get to a point where they question what's in it for me. Here's what I want our Kenyans, if you're listening or when you listen to this, and for those of us on this show tonight, Wakenya wenzangu, ulizeni wapi hiyo bribe yako ya 2 million. If you get your grant, if you get your car grant, 2 million, then vote for the thing. If you don't have it, don't vote for it. Kataa kabisa, wakwende kabisa, washindwe. Yep.
Promise me that we're going to have another conversation. The Kenya we want. We're going to have another conversation. If possible, let us see if we can have another conversation next week, and we can have 2 or 3 more people so that we can discuss and agree to agree.
True. I would love that. You know me, you and I, Captain, we go way back, but this is a beautiful platform, great opportunity, and hopefully we can sway a couple minds and get the movement going, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'll mention a little bit about the Diaspora One Voice Consortium and conclude with the Diaspora Conference in August in Seattle, Washington, and finally tell us about the taxes and whatever you do for the community. Those 3 items, very important.
Oh, excellent. Thank you again. Again, this is under the auspices of Global Diaspora One Voice Consortium. This is, of course, is a program that we do. Is the brainchild of our friend and my buddy, Dr. Robert Shuri. He has gotten a lot of us, several disparate, in other words, individuals and organizations such as Kenyan Diaspora Association of Kenyan Diaspora Organizations. We're in this together to try and speak with one voice. So it's a great platform. You guys should actually consider being a part of it. If you're not already, please find out more about it. Our website, I'm not sure about the other website, but the akidoi.org is one of the websites. We're an affiliate of the Global Diaspora One Voice Consortium and Foundation. So it's a beautiful thing to be a part of. With respect to the Diaspora Conference, this is one way, again, like I said at the beginning, that we reach out to the community. We host these conferences once a year, and we try to go to the communities where Kenyans, we started out in Atlanta, obviously. Conferences here. If we can go to if we can reach out and go to where our Kenyans are, we try to go to those centers. And this year, so it's going to be on August 27th and 28th in Seattle, Washington. That's going to be on the Friday and the Saturday. And finally, and thanks again, Captain, for the opportunity. But it's tax season. You guys. Well, we didn't get back. It'll be next time. If you guys have, I'm sure you guys have folks that prepare or work on your taxes for you. But if you need help in any way that we can assist, please feel free to reach us out at www.davidandassociates.com. Email me personally, dochwangi@davidandassociates.com. And you can call me at that number, the 678-523-3310. I just and we'd love to assist you or help you in that regard. And other than that, I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you so much, David. And I believe that next time you're going to have a little bit more time and discuss these things and nicely the issues that are affecting Kenyans in the diaspora. So many of them. And I know that we're going to work out together and bring in a forum so that we can discuss about the Kenya that we want. Otherwise, thank you so much and have a very good night.
You too. Thank you. Thanks again for the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, that was David Chwani, and a great Kenyan. David is a member of the Diaspora One Voice, and thank you so much for the opportunity that we have had. I know that we have learned a lot, and we're going to make it better and beautiful next time. And for now, I want to wish you the very best. Have a very good night for those who are going to sleep, and for those who are just about to get to work. We're just about to have the second part of our show, and we're going to have a beautiful moment. Meanwhile, this is the Adventures, an opportunity for you to be a landowner in Juja, Kalimoni, Block 36. These plots are actually 50 by 100. It's actually 50 by 100. It is an opportunity for you to own a part of Juja, Kiambu County. Beautiful plots. We have a gated community, we have electricity, we have a perimeter wall, we have water, a borehole. And also, it is just 4 kilometers from the main Thika Superhighway, 1 kilometer from the tarmac to Juja Farm Road. These plots have a title deed, and you, believe you me, that you'll have wonderful neighbors, as you can see on the screen. You'll have wonderful neighbors, as you can see on the screen, and you can be able to pay in installments. You pay a deposit of whatever amount, and you'll be able to pay the balances in installment of 1 year. You can be able to call Jean Kay. Her contacts are on the screen. That is 0722-980-106, 0722-980-106. Or you can be able to talk to Anbel. Anbel is based here in the U.S., and her contacts are +1 404 8612713 or 936 730 7556. The other Adventures, Juja Kalimoni Block 36, 50 by 100, ready with a title deed. It's important for you to get a piece of that. It is important for you to get a piece of that. It's a beautiful place to be. By the way, it is a beautiful place to be. Na kwa sababu watu wanaendelea kununua mashamba, sasa si basi ujipatie yako. Usiseme ya kwamba, si kukupatia that information. Yeah, you better get that information and work on it. Na mambo itakuwa maridadi. Otherwise, thank you so much for the far that we have gone. I know we have discussed a lot, and we are going to conclude that particular program